I've been playing this game called SteamWorld Quest on the Nintendo Switch, but you can get it on everything. It is a card-based RPG. Oh, hold up. It is a card-based RPG from the makers of SteamWorld Heist and SteamWorld Dig, and sort of set in that, it's still set in that universe where it's like robots living out in the world. And it's this adventure where you're controlling these different robots. You have your different classes, your DPS, your healer, your mage, and so on and so forth, but you use cards. And it's like a turn-based RPG in the style of, say, like Final Fantasy, at least the battle system, where it's menu-based and you take turns with your characters. And the big difference is you're using cards to battle, and it works like a deck builder. So if you've played something like a Magic the Gathering or Dominion, where you have a set of cards which represent all of your attacks and abilities, and you're drawing them from a pile of cards. So you don't have access to all of your moves at any given time. You will have access to some. The frequency at which your moves will be available are dependent on the number of cards you have in your deck. And it's just been a really... Like, I love deck building games, having played a lot of Dominion and Marvel Legendary, like physical tabletop games. I haven't dove into the world of card-based video games yet, but it was really cool to see these mechanics that I enjoy in tabletop gaming form come to life in a different way. And being able to play like that style of JRPG, which is generally not my cup of tea. Generally not a fan of JRPGs, but because I love deck building games and having that mix of deck building and customizing what moves you have available, and at any given moment you're not entirely sure which cards you have, so you kind of have to make do with what you've got. It's very cool. Sounds cool. Yes, I really enjoy it. Actually, shout outs to fellow WordPress writer and streamer and Fantasy Strike enthusiast Frosty Light for the recommendation on that. He was playing, I think, Slay the Spire on one of the first streams I visited of his, and I asked him about SteamWorld Quest because I just hadn't played that style of game before, and he recommended it, so I ended up picking it up while it was on sale. And I mean, like, I was probably gonna pick it up anyway because I love that dev who did SteamWorld Dig 1 and 2 and SteamWorld Heist. And yeah, this one is another banger. I think those guys can do no wrong. I will buy everything that they do at this point, and I trust that they will make it work. I think Slay the Spire is similar. I've heard it's more like a roguelike, and Slay the Spire is the game in that style that is the most talked about. The reason I haven't bought it yet is it kind of looks ugly to me. I don't like the art style of that game. Not to say that looks are everything, but I don't like the art style of it. I may still, like, just based on my love of SteamWorld Quest and like this style of game, I would be more inclined to try others in this vein. So Slay the Spire might be up next anyway, and maybe I'll get over it and over its looks and just fall in love with the game anyway. Mulligoon says, you picked up SteamWorld Quest recently. Awesome. Have you played it yet? I'm on chapter 4? Yeah, I started playing it, yeah, a night or two ago. And it's weird, like on Saturday nights, like normally that's the night you're supposed to stay up super late. And I normally would, but because of the streams on Sunday mornings, I want to get a little more rest. I usually haven't. But last night, I stayed up too late playing some SteamWorld Quest. Hey, we got another KO. We are in the top 30, which is a pretty decent start. Not yet, might finish Heist first. Okay, yeah, SteamWorld Heist is also fantastic. All of these SteamWorld games... hold on, sorry. Having some tech issues here. I have a memory foam cushion on my seat now, and I think I've been kind of leaning towards one particular side, So now, like, my entire seat is leaning to the side. Bad posture. I need to sit straight and then it'll squash evenly. Maybe it might be a great ab workout though. Just trying to maintain my balance on an off balance surface. Terrible for posture though. Yeah, SteamWorld Heist. It's a fantastic turn-based strategy RPG. Like if you've played, I say the closest parallel would be like XCOM. With this being a 2D XCOM, there's some shooting in it, but you're also like controlling the angle of the shots, and you can bank shots off of walls, and there's good. It's very cool. It was one of the few games where as soon as I beat it, the very next thing I did was fire up New Game Plus, and then I beat that too. Yeah, are there any devs where you're like, yes, I will buy... Actually, let's take that a step back. Before we go into the extreme, just shut up and take my money levels of fandom, what are some of your favorite game devs that you just really enjoy their work and will buy a lot of their stuff? Also, we're top 10, so feel free to answer that question while I try and stay alive here. Within Nintendo, like Nintendo has a bunch of different teams, like the Zelda team. They've been very good. Mario's done by mostly one, like the platforming Marios are done by, I think it's one team. I could be wrong, but it might be a split between 3D and 2D as well. I used to say Capcom, but there's a bunch of devs in there too. Oh geez, that's a terrible start. Capcom with the Street Fighter. Oh man, okay. Handicap. I'm just trying to play poorly to give all these other Tetris players a head start, and I'm gonna make an amazing comeback and win. I think Capcom of late has been kind of rough. I think starting with like Street Fighter Tekken and Street Fighter V and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, like they are not what they used to be. Unfortunately, though, they've had a bit of a resurgence on everything other than the fighting game division. Like, people really love the modern Resident Evil games, the Resident Evil remakes, the new Devil May Cry. But yeah, the fighting game side, it just hasn't been there to the point where it's probably drastically changed my trajectory as a gamer. Like, if Capcom was still making... If Street Fighter V was a great game, this would probably just be a Street Fighter V channel. With the fervor that I was playing those fighting games in. Grasshopper Manufacturer. Ooh. A little Suda51 and No More Heroes. Fago's Pirate Robot, when he's here, is also a massive Suda51 No More Heroes fan. I've never played any of those games, TBH. They've never really appealed to me, but I've met multiple people in my lifetime who just swear by that dev's work. Ian says, there was a time in my life when the name Square Enix on a game was pretty much an immediate purchase. That's over now. Uh-oh. What just happened? I ran over... Hold on. Ugh. Okay, I will explain what happened there in just a sec. Some assorted streamer fails that I have to consider, and other streamer advice for anyone else streaming. If you can, I guess if you can go wireless, but yeah, Square Enix definitely was one of those publishers in the mid to late 90s where, yep, you saw that name on the box and you just got it, and you spent the next 100 hours playing whatever that RPG was and loving it. Even if they weren't, even back then, they weren't always like the most consistent, but you were probably going to get something really good. Boss fights are amazing in No More Heroes. We are talking epic 10+ minute fights. Great. Boss fights are really hard to get right in video games. Even Even Nintendo sometimes have some really crappy boss fights. Look at, I think a lot of Mario games have really bad boss fights for 90% of the game, and then you get one cool Bowser encounter at the end. So that's great. Did Suda do... No, I don't think Suda did Lollipop Chainsaw at all. That seems like a game in his style, though. I also really didn't like that game. It was very big in the cosplay scene. That character, the cheerleader, the zombie killer cheerleader, was a very popular look in the convention circuit throughout the 2000s and 2010s. Also, this is not going well for me here. Yes. That's a scary drop. This is also all sorts of bad. Not liking any of this here. Okay. Move that over here. And I'm struggling. I don't... Okay, just go down the hole. Go. Oh yes, okay, so Suda did Lollipop Chainsaw. Okay. I'm not going to... I can't speak at all about No More Heroes. I really did not like Lollipop Chainsaw. I thought that it had an amazing... That protagonist was amazingly designed, and I can understand why she drew quite the audience just on looks alone. But that character drove me nuts. She was very much the dumb blonde stereotype, and you put her in like a zombie apocalypse, and she has a chainsaw and she's fighting, and I just thought the gameplay was... Well, okay, I thought a lot of things. I thought the gameplay was not great, and the story was really dumb. Nevertheless, I think that game did decently well. So I might not be in a rush to play more Suda games, but I am glad that you enjoy his work. It's hard to say. Like, yeah, the square used to mean that. Uh-oh. Oh, geez. I think Call of Duty is pretty much that for a lot of people, of just like, well, it's the new Call of Duty. I gotta go get this.